Welcome, Ohana, to the Disney Guys Uncensored. This is episode 79, recorded on September 21st, 2020. We're your hosts, Drew, Bob, and Tim. On tonight's episode, we are live in the Ohana on Facebook. So come, journey with us as we chat about Disney parks, updates around the world, Disney Plus fall preview, and some super cool new merchandise. Super excited. We have a lot to kind of talk about in BuzzTube this week, so let's just head on over. BuzzTube week, this guys. We have some big announcements we want to talk about. We have a whole new, I guess you could say, fall Pixar Character Showdown, which we kind of talked about last week. That's going to follow up with a super new and fun contest. But before we get there, gentlemen, if you remember correctly, Bob, I believe it was you who called out Patreon supporter John Blanco last week. Was it you?
As I am one to do, I like to start fights with our listeners.
Well, do I have a treat for all you listeners out here? Bob called out John, telling him to send in a voicemail. I believe we called him out because he said something on the lines of Stitch sucks or Stitch is terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did.
It's a reoccurring theme that he always trolls us with, let's say. So Bob called him out, and he returned that call by sending us in a voicemail. So Tim, Bob, I'm going to play a little clip for you guys here, and let's enjoy it, relax, and then we can give us some comments on it. So here we go.
Hey, Disney guys. John Blanco here. Loved your last episode, top 10 Disney movies that stink. I agreed with 9 of them. I was very disappointed Lilo and Stitch wasn't on there. You asked me to explain why I don't like Lilo and Stitch. First of all, their parents are killed in a car accident. That's a little dark for a kid's movie, don't you think? Big reason, Stitch is an asshole for about 95% of the movie. That's what really does it for me. There's no time where I feel happy or I feel like I'm enjoying the movie. It's just Stitch being an asshole to everybody around him, and it just causes a lot of consternation. I feel on edge when I'm watching the movie. I really don't like it. Another one, Stitch is an alien. I hate aliens. By my count, Stitch actually has 8 antennae and 4 hands. He hides them for most of the movie, but we know they're there. He's an alien, and aliens are bad. We don't like it. By the way, they go and adopt the thing. The lady says she thought Stitch was dead, and it's talking, and they still adopt it. And I don't know. Lilo, how much power does Lilo have? A bit bizarre. Does anyone remember the sister's name? Anybody? I'll let you think about it for a second. Nani. Nobody remembers that. Here's another one. The Stitch ride sucks. Stitch's Great Escape? Stitch's Great Escape to close down, maybe. Lasted about a dozen years. And it actually replaced Alien Counter. So it's like the churro stands at Disney deciding to start selling Tide Pods. The sequel went direct to video. Bet you didn't even know they had a sequel. The third movie went direct to video, too. It's called Stitch Has a Glitch. I think that would win top 10 worst Disney movie names of all time. And lastly, I don't like Elvis Presley. Also, who was talking about Bolt on the show? Tim, are you dissing Bolt? Rotten Tomatoes score for Bolt was 89%. You know what Lilo and Stitch's was? 86%. Mic drop, I'm out.
Well, John, thank you for that amazing voicemail. I mean, Bob, what do you have to say?
No, please. He did not call me out by name. I'm going to let Tim go first.
So, Tim, what's your thoughts? Oh, Tim, we can't hear you there. Yep, there we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
we can hear you now, Tim.
All right.
Don't worry, I can edit it. I can edit it out. Won't even know.
All right, hold on. Sorry about that, guys. Little mic switch difficulty. Yeah, first of all, I guess I can't really argue with the IMDb scores, especially since I show last week. I guess it's just empirical that Bolt is better than Lilo and Stitch. Other than that, like, of course, all the direct-to-video DVD sequels are bad.
Hey, I stand by that. They're not terrible. The follow-up Stitch films.
Some of them are terrible. I don't know about the Stitch ones. I'm just saying, like
The Stitch ones.
Cinderella 1 is like a 99.8% on Rotten Tomatoes. Cinderella 2 is 32%. It's the single biggest difference between a movie and its sequel in history of rated movies on Rotten Tomatoes. But I was not sold on that voicemail, John Blanco. It sounds like you're just a Stitch hater. I forgot about the alien thing from hearing you on another podcast, but I think that's really coloring your opinion of things on this.
Bob, you have any comments for John?
I mean, there's a lot to unpack here, John. Let's be honest. You don't like aliens. That's fine. I don't know why you'd care that Stitch replaced Alien Encounter then, but we do agree that Alien. We do agree that Alien.
Everybody agrees, though.
So, but we do agree that Stitch's Great Escape is the worst theme park attraction of all time. This side of Rocket Rod's deep cut, just so you guys know.
Superstar Limo?
Oh no, we don't even count that. Are you kidding me? Come on, Superstar Limo. That was terrible. Anyway, I digress. John, listen, I love you. Drew loves you. I'm not so sure Tim does. But at the end of the day, I appreciate the voicemail. It's an odd stance to take that this is the hill you're going to die on. But listen, that's the great thing about these polls is that we actually had pretty close to a consensus on the top 10 last week, and clearly it did not meet your consensus. So
9 out of 10's not bad, though.
No. And again, I mean, I actually kind of agree with the Stitch isn't necessarily a redeemable character, but the deeper you go in, there's apparently undertones of Lilo potentially being on the spectrum in that movie, and that's why the sister is so doting, and they're still in a sense of grieving about the parents, as you said. I mean, every Disney movie has the death of a parent, so, I mean, ultimately, there's deeper stuff going on in Lilo and Stitch that I don't think now is the time to have the conversation about it. But I'll leave you with thanks for the email. You didn't change my mind. Lilo and Stitch does not belong in the top 10 worst Disney movies of all time.
It got 0 votes, John. 0 votes.
0.
Well, thanks, John. And as a reminder for all of you listeners out there, you're always welcome to send in a voicemail or hate mail to us. I would be happy to comment on it and play it live on our show. That's what we do here. So we love to hear that type of stuff. But speaking of Stitch, who was an underperformer in the Disney Character Madness bracket,
which actually lends credence to John's voicemail.
It does.
It does show well.
Unless John single-handedly voted 1,000 times and sabotaged Stitch, we'll never know.
Wait a minute. Isn't John some kind of programmer or IT guy? Did John build a bot to vote against Stitch?
It's possible.
You know what? If he did build a bot to vote against Stitch, I am honored that he took the time to do it.
Dedicated, absolutely. But
all right.
Where I'm going with this is that the Disney Character Madness was so much fun. It was so I just
you guys
at the
received
curveball. It decided to do this madness again. And as Jordana alluded to last week with the big announcement, we have decided to go to a little bit different this time, but same concept. And we're going with the Pixar Character Showdown, folks. 64 of the best Pixar characters of all time that we decided on, really. But we're going to get to that in a second. Because, folks, now that you're listening to this contest or this bracket or this voting method is now live. We're going to be posting this directly after our show tonight, where you can go on there and vote. It's going to be Google Polls vote, which they've updated a little bit since last time. Super phone, as well as Instagram and Twitter will have the links as well. So definitely a places where you can vote on all these. But let's talk about this for a minute. Bob.
Yeah.
As the lead bracketologist, if that's a word.
It is.
Why don't you thank you. What I mean that's like a pat on the back right there.
I spent so many times correcting him. He was right this time.
Speaking of that, it's funny. The other night, Amy always made fun of me as I say strategery, but she always tries to tell me that's not a word.
No. It's offbeat strategery. That I stand by you on that one too.
I appreciate that. Maybe I use a different word, but I always
It's the essence of strategy, is what it is. It's brilliant, really.
it really is. Anywho, side topic. The 4 brackets, Bob. Why don't you use your bracketology on Al's Toy Barn, which was picked by me.
Yeah, so Drew ended up by hook or by crook with the first pick in our quote-unquote draft. Tim was pissed, but Tim also did not end up with the last pick, so he wasn't completely pissed. He was only, John Blanco Stitch pissed. No, mate, that might be a 4 pick. Anyway, I digress. Drew had some interesting picks. His best value pick has to be the Green Aliens from Toy Story as the 12 seed. Their road is going to be, I think, fairly easy for them to go on a little bit of a run here in Drew's bracket. His biggest stretch pick was the Manticore at the 7 seed. It's one of those that I don't know how well Onward will do in this type of situation. I don't know if the characters have brand recognition beyond diehard fans like our former co-host.
And I did what, Bob? We had three Onward representatives in the bracket?
We did have 3 Onward representatives.
And Manticore was the first to go, correct?
Yes,
It was.
Manticore was the first one off the board.
Yes.
Yep. So let's look at matchups here, because Drew's best first round matchups are the 5-seeded Ham versus the 12-seeded Green Aliens. That is my upset special for the first round in Drew's bracket. I'm taking the Green Aliens in a landslide over Ham. They're going to advance. And then we have Bing Bong versus Duke Kaboom, the 6 versus 11 seed. Another upset special there. I think Duke Kaboom wins that one as well. But really, I want to talk about the projected winner in Drew's bracket, the way it's going to shake out. Look for the 3-seeded Dory to come out of Al's Toy Barn as the winner of that bracket to advance to the Final 4.
Good feedback there, Bob. I like that.
Yep. So then, with Dory in the Final 4, we got to look at the South region, as I call it, the A113. That was Jordana's round, and it went to shit quickly.
She's not even here to defend herself.
Well, let's be honest, it did.
So,
you
understand what I'm saying?
score was bad.
Yeah. So Jordana, she is the 4th pick in this draft. So ultimately, not a ton of surprises where she went. Merida was her best value pick as the 5 seed. I think, guys, we all agreed. We kind of slept on the princesses. The princesses did really well in Disney Character Madness. I think Merida does well in Pixar Character Showdown. I don't know that she wins it, but as one of the few princess characters, or the only princess character, and one of the few female characters that were drafted in this, I would say she's a very good value pick as the 5 line. The biggest stretch pick to me of the whole thing, probably a character I didn't even expect to be drafted. She did pick Chef Gusteau as the 6th seed. That, to me, stunning, but that wasn't even really the biggest complaint I had, because we get into best matchups. Her 8 versus 9 might be the best first-round matchup of the tournament in Jessie versus Bullseye. I'm projecting Bullseye to win that right now in a very close, probably 55-45 split type thing. But my upset special in Jordana's bracket is easily number 3-seeded Doug getting run out of the building by Marlin, the 14 seed. That is the upset special in A113.
Way too early.
Doug being a 3 seed is just shocking to me.
Doug is annoying. I don't like Doug.
Yeah.
It's very cute, though.
I
just
prefer
visually great design, good character to look at, pleasant to look at.
Certainly, a round little poochy pooch. I mean, it's fantastic. But that is the upset special in that region. It is Marlin as the 14th seed. A round poochy pooch. Yeah. And my projected winner in this round, which would set up an epic Final 4 matchup, my projected winner is Nemo from A113, which would give us a Nemo versus Dory Final 4 matchup on that side of the bracket. Crazy. Guys, anything about these 2 brackets stick out to you that to me, obviously the 1 seeds, for me, Drew, you obviously have Mike Wazowski on the 1 line. Jordana has Woody on the 1 line. I think Woody is the first 1 seed to fall in my opinion. To me, that's what I see happening.
I wavered between picking Woody or my first pick, and
you
in
made
the end,
the right
I'm
choice.
glad. I think I made the right choice. But
You made the right
I
choice.
think it's close.
I don't think it's as close as you think.
I don't think so either.
Chef Gusteau as a 6th seed is definitely wild to me.
I mean, I
You're
can't
wild.
believe Chef Gusteau was even picked.
Correct.
Period.
But I'll tell you what, if you watch Ratatouille again, and I know we've all seen Ratatouille a couple of times, but
But he's not in it
he's
enough.
not a bad little character. He's
not in it.
cute. I mean, but he's not.
He's like a memory ghost.
It's weird.
I don't know if I'd call
Jordana,
Chef
in her
Gusteau
defense,
cute.
in her defense, she claimed she had a strategy for her whole thing. Like
Yes.
she said, she took Merida because of Princesses did so well last time.
You know what though? That's a fair point.
I
love the Merida pick as the 5 seed. I love the Merida pick.
I do
there.
too.
But as she comes out, so the Merida pick and the Nemo pick, the 4-5. So this is the 3, 4, 5, 6 sandwich. Okay, you got shitbread Doug at number 3. You have Nemo and Merida as the meat of the sandwich, and then you have Chef Gusteau as the. I mean, I don't even.
It's just absent. It's an open face sandwich. There's no other piece of
I'll
bread.
tell you what, I think
Unbelievable.
Marlin's better than Nemo.
Interesting.
That's big. But I have Marlin as the 14 seed upset special over Doug. So I mean, we don't disagree with that.
But anywho, why don't we? What's going on the other side of the bracket?
So let's head over to the other side of the bracket where we have Tim's bracket here. His region, the Dinoco region.
Oh, that's a good
fair or
game.
not, he didn't pick a ton of Cars characters. He might have picked Lightning McQueen as his 2 seed, which
I
I
did
almost
pick Lightning McQueen as my 2 seed.
which I almost had a problem with until I realized what your 3 seed was, and we'll get there in a second. Your best value pick, Tim, there were 2 of them to me. Seagulls as the 14 seed and Anger as the 12 seed. You fell into 2 great characters there with those value picks.
You did. And the Seagulls, of course, I'm finding Nemo. But Anger going that late, a little surprised.
I think we kind of overlooked Inside Out a little bit in the draft.
There was so many cheap Inside Out pickups late in that draft. I went nuts with them personally.
You know what it is? It's funny when we saw this in the last one. You don't know how the non-diehard Disney fans can relate to some of these movies. You know, they're going to relate to the Toy Stories, right? And these big name movies that they've seen a million times. So it's curious to see how they vote for these characters.
Well, Toy Story got 17 of the 64 picks were Toy Story characters.
Incredible.
I mean, it's one of the most iconic film franchises in history. So that's not surprising.
So Tim, your biggest stretch pick to me, and it's not that you picked him, is that you picked him within like the first 12 or 13 picks. So you're telling me that Remy is like the 12th best Pixar character of all time. I don't necessarily disagree with Remy being here. I would have preferred him on a 6 or 7 line as opposed to the 3 line. Just again, looking at it from my vantage point. And that's why, folks, the best matchups of Tim's first round are 2 upset specials for the price of 1. Take the Seagulls as the 14 seed and take Anger over Crush.
100%.
I think the Anger versus Crush matchup is a much closer matchup than Remy versus Seagulls. But I am taking Anger over Crush. I'm taking Seagulls over Remy.
You think the Seagulls are gonna smash Remy?
No, I just think it's not going to be as close as Crush and Anger is.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying maybe 5 or 6 points Crush and Anger, probably 7, 8, 9 points Seagulls and Remy.
I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy.
I'm a big believer in the Seagulls. I think people love those idiots. I mean, you know what? Name me one thing that's iconic about Remy, and my answer is mine, and that's why the Seagulls win that, because they are ingrained in people's heads. I mean, and I will tell you, Ratatouille to me is the far superior movie, and Remy is the far superior character.
I don't know about that.
I will stand by it. Remy as a motion picture, as a film, is a better film than Nemo. Nemo's more enjoyable. It's probably easier to watch with the kids, but Ratatouille is a fantastic film, and I think that's where we're going to have to differentiate on how these characters do.
Has a niche market.
I disagree.
I like Ratatouille myself. Yeah. I think a lot of people may have not seen that.
I think it's a harder sell on the kids.
Correct.
But it was so critically well reviewed that it's just part of the canon of films now.
Yeah. So I guess my concern here, though, is we're not looking to please the critics, and we all know how Disney Character Madness went. Tell me I'm crazy for picking the Seagulls in that first round matchup. I don't think I am. But Tim, fear not, because your number one seed is the only number one seed I have advancing to the Final Four. And I'm going to go as far to say as I am going to project Buzz Lightyear to be in the championship of Pixar Character Madness this time around. That's how confident I feel in Buzz Lightyear. And I could be wrong. But the way I look at it, the way I see it shake out, I look at Buzz Lightyear to be in the championship match against Nemo or Dory, and then it's a coin flip from there. And Drew, just so you know, I don't have a bias against Finding Nemo, because clearly I have two Finding Nemo characters in the Final Four. So, I mean...
True. That is true.
So then we go to By and Large, where that is my region of this tragicness. My best value pick, in my opinion, which is hard to grade my own picks, was Zurg at the 10 seed, if only because I love the Emperor Zurg. I don't know how he's going to do. But a best value pick, I think he, similar to Tim, what you were saying about Ratatouille and Remy and how that's kind of entered the quote-unquote lexicon and just films in general, the zeitgeist, if you were. I feel like for Pixar fans and Disney Pixar fans, I feel like Zurg is as close to an iconic villain in Pixar as there is. So that's kind of why I'm kind of saying Zurg is probably a pick or two later than he should have been, which is why he got kind of the best value pick for mine. Biggest stretch pick when I was reviewing mine was Rex at the 4 seed. I think I was picking Ham or Slinky, and I picked Rex instead. So
and I had capitalized on that. I took Ham next round.
So to me, I think
Ham out from under me, and I had to take Slinky.
So I think Rex to me was the stretch at the 4 seed. You probably would like to have him closer to the 8 or 9 line, to be honest with you, if at all. Probably a 10 or 11 seed overall.
Yeah, I don't think he would have made it that long, though, Bub.
No, probably not. No, but I don't know that he's... I think he's got his fans. I just don't know that he moves the needle like a Potato Head or a Ham or Slinky or someone like that. So the best matchups, in my opinion, for my region are the 8-9 Roz versus Mr. Incredible and Wheezy versus Zurg in the 7-10 matchup. As you see, I clearly went heavy with the Toy Story picks. I actually project if Woody isn't the first 1 seed to fall, I am convinced, and Tim will tell me otherwise, and he'll make me feel good about it, is I'm convinced that Roz or Mr. Incredible will stun Wally in the second round and advance on to the Sweet 16 by defeating the number 2 overall seed in the tournament and my number 1 seed, Wally. Tim, tell me I'm crazy for thinking that.
I think you're crazy for thinking that in any year but 2020. In 2020, people don't want to think about the sad robot movie. Instead, the loud Roz or the charismatic Mr. Incredible.
Keep in mind who's voting here, Tim. Keep in mind.
Yeah, and also they will always do us dirty. And to that, I want to appeal directly to listeners. Guys, if you're watching live, this is the best Pixar character. I couldn't take him number 1 because, I mean, I had to take some better characters with more broad appeal. But the real hero of the Toy Story franchise, he smells of strawberries. He's Lotso Bear. Vote for him. Let him win.
Vote early, vote off.
Yeah. You can vote on
your mail-in ballots ready. Oh, come on. Will you please? But Bubs, my projected winner in the By and Large region is my 2 seed, Forky, setting up a Toy Story showdown on mine and Tim's side of the bracket versus a Finding Nemo, Finding Dory universe, other side of the bracket. So that's right. Bub's Final Four are Buzz Lightyear versus Forky and Nemo versus Dory. And guys, I don't think there's anything crazy here other than the fact that it's 2 Toy Story characters and 2 Finding Nemo characters, arguably the 2 most profitable franchises for Pixar. I mean, obviously Cars prints money with its toys, and The Incredibles does okay for itself. But when you think in the pantheon of Pixar, it's got to be Toy Story #1 and Nemo, if not #2, probably #3. So 2 landmark franchises representing us in the Final Four.
Absolutely, Bob. Yeah, and thanks for that amazing breakdown. I'm super excited to see how everyone's going to vote. And again, there's going to be really a few ways to vote, but the main way to vote is really to use the Doodle polls that we will be posting everywhere on all social media, as well as our Facebook and Ohana group. Super simple, do it right from your phone. It takes just a few minutes. We made these amazing battle cards once again, as always, and you can just try to select which one. Also, Jordana will be posting these on Instagram through our stories page, where you can also vote that way in Instagram.
Directly in the app.
Correct, directly, if you don't want to go open up one of the other links. But super easy stuff. Well, we'll be posting our bracket on our Facebook page and Instagram as well, so you can follow along to see who will play who when the winner's there. But that's not it, folks. We wanted to, because we love you guys sometimes, we wanted to make a fun, not contest, but a way, kind of a thank you for go vote. And while you are voting, we're asking you guys to do a little give back to us, and we're going to give you a little give back to you. So what we're saying is, if you go on to iTunes and you give us a written 5-star review, and this is going to go on through the life of the contest, through the life of the Pixar Character Showdown. So really about 6 weeks or so, right, Bob? Is that what it lasts?
Yeah, I think it'll be the second week of November. I'd have to take a look, but I think it's about a month and a half or so.
So between now and the end of this, until we have a winner, if you go onto iTunes, give us a 5-star written review. You have to say words, so you have to type something. If you want to reference the Pixar Character Madness, great. But give us a 5-star written review. You will be entered in to win a $25 Disney gift card. Now you're gonna have to listen in to see if you win. We will announce the winner at the end of this. And again, we'll announce the winner live on the show. So if you hear your name, you'll have to reach back out to us and say, hey, that's me. You can prove it to us. Whatever way, we'll figure it out.
We'll only have your screen name on iTunes. So you're going to have to be able to take a screenshot or something to associate your name with that screen name that Drew picks.
Yeah. Yep.
With his fabulous random number generator that will somehow pick him for our contest.
Probably.
Don't know if that works that way.
But again, simple, easy way to get yourself a $25 Disney gift card. So that is going to wrap up the Pixar Character Showdown. Remember, this is live. Go find it. Vote. Let your kids vote. My kids have a blast looking at the 2 pictures and picking one. So share this with your friends, family, everywhere, and vote.
Drew, that'll be the week of November 10th.
Thank you, Bob.
So the November 3rd, we announced the championship match. They have a week to vote on that, which would be November 10th, would be the Tuesday. So the 9th or 10th will be the cutoff for the gift card.
Awesome. That's going to wrap up BuzzTube this week, and we're going to head over to the topic of the week. All right, guys. We try to do this maybe once a quarter or so. We kind of just do a what's going on in the world of Disney. And there's been a lot of news lately, really the last week or two. So what we're doing tonight, we're trying to break them down to a couple different topics that we want to just share what's going on. So we're going to, of course, talk about Disney parks, not just domestic, but foreign as well, because there's a lot of good stuff that we want to share with you. We're going to talk about some super cool new merchandise that is hitting Disney Shop as well as local stores and online all over the place. We're going to move into our Disney Plus kind of fall preview. And then, if we have time, maybe we'll do a little miscellaneous type Halloween fun and some other stuff that Bob can tease me about. But Bob and Tim, I know you guys have been excited. Let's start off with... the parts there. So, Bob, what's going on over in Epcot?
Bob, you're
I
muted.
don't know what's going on over in
All right,
Epcot, to be honest with you.
I added this to the talk. We got some new official from Disney aerial photography of the construction. As we know, the clear new pillars for the entrance fountain are in. One of the interventions buildings is completely leveled, and it looks like they're moving kind of full steam ahead with whatever's going to end up being the construction. They've officially announced it'll be scaled back from those blue sky stuff we saw at D23, and even scaled back from the preview center stuff we know now. But I don't know. It was good to see they're at least moving forward, because Epcot, they really need to do something with the facelift. Guardians of the Galaxy solar panels are back on top of the Universe of Energy building, and brand new gold tiles have been installed on the Wonders of Life building to turn it into the Play Pavilion, right? That's the name they were using? Play Pavilion?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still the most ambiguous of all the Epcot improvements. What the heck the Play Pavilion is really going to be?
Well, yeah. I mean, it'll be exciting to see that. I mean, I think it'll be definitely one of the places that as well will be able to, I think, shift almost based on. I'm speculating here, but I think they'll be able to shift based on what's popular and what's going on with new films as well. Based on the technology and stuff that we've been seeing. That's what I would like to see. Not just focus on one or two films, but the ability to kind of interchange, I guess you could say.
Well, Lord knows there's a lot of room in that pavilion.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
So certainly the last time I was in there was I don't know, about 9 years ago. On our honeymoon, they had it open for the Food and Wine Festival Center. That was kind of like the host of the Food and Wine Center. And the Cranium Command Theater was still there. Body Wars was technically still over there. Certainly, it's a big pavilion. I think from what I've seen, you're going to see it be similar to when they go to the internet and Wreck-It Ralph 2. It's kind of how it's going to look.
I was going to say that. Yeah. That's
and
kind of
it looks like there's going to be like a Huey, Dewey, and Louie attraction. Apparently, what I'm told, like a DuckTales attraction. Obviously separate from the World Showcase thing they're doing. There's supposed to be a monorail attraction. That's the vicious rumor going around. Don't ask me any questions about it. Very hush-hush. But it's supposed to be pretty cool. It is supposed to be pretty interactive.
That's where they're moving the character meet and greets, right? Like the Big Hero 6, the Wreck-It
There
Ralph,
will
and
be
the
some
Inside Out.
character meet and greets there. Which ones I think is still, like Andrew said, I think it's open to what's hot at the time. I mean, I would certainly... You'd hope that Big Hero 6 would have a presence. I think Big Hero 6 gets underlooked. But I don't really know how well it holds up. I think it holds up well, but does it hold?
The Betamax meet and greet was pretty popular.
No, it was.
I guess
now,
no.
Yeah, but now that it's away and it's going to come back, is there something else you can use the space for? I think it's what you have to weigh.
I hear you. What else we got going on, Bub?
Yeah, so the transportation, the TTA, the Tomorrowland Transit Authority, don't know why I was going to go Transportation and Ticket Center. The People Mover refurb got extended from the end of October through the end of November. This could be a case of legitimate work being done. It could be a case of not being able to get all the parts at once. It also could be a case of they're taking their time with it because there's no demand for it in the parks. I don't know. I would hate to think that this ride goes the way of other attractions that have had their refurbs extended and extended and extended, and doesn't ever reopen. I mean, never say never. I mean, if they close the People Mover, there would be an outrage. Maybe rightfully so. I don't know if it's rightfully so. I love the attraction. I love it. It's fun, but
if you close it, you just do nothing with the track. I mean, it's kind of intertwined with Tomorrowland.
Yeah, I mean, what are you? I mean, it's there right now. Closed. What's the difference?
Yeah, I mean, the track is still there in California. It hasn't been used since Rocket Rods, which was what, 99?
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, that was a mismanagement start to end. Tony Baxter has spoken on it a couple. Basically, anytime anybody asks us about it, he'll talk about how that's the poorest idea and planning that ever has happened in a Disney park.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, Drew, no, I wouldn't want to see it go.
No,
and I don't think it'll go. I just think they're going to take their time with it because there's no rush.
I agree
to
with
get
that.
it open.
Yeah, my fear is just that it's Primeval World Part 2, where we're waiting on the parts, but the company that originally made the parts doesn't even exist anymore. And then in the end, we realize we just can't get the part.
Well,
that's kind of what it sounded like.
But nobody liked Primeval World.
No,
Right.
but I think this is a different case though, because it's pneumatic motors, which you can still get. It's a conveyor belt system, which you can still get, even if it's not from the same vendor. You can get it from, I would assume, several vendors in the world make linear induction motors, and they make tires and
Do those same people
conveyor
make
belts.
metals for Disney? Because I'm still waiting on those, bub.
No, I would say that's probably not done by the same people, but who knows? Never say never.
All right, but what else we got going on?
So this one kind of we threw around. I want to talk to Tim about it a little bit. He's usually more in tune with national reopening plans, and I don't know if he's looked at it entirely, but there's an awful lot. Oh boy, I can't make that reference. There's a lot going on at Disneyland. I was gonna say there's a lot of smoke over at Disneyland, but that would have been too on the nose.
Literally is.
Yes. There's a lot of action and murmur and chirping and rumors going on about a Disneyland reopening potentially at some point in October, I think is the last I heard of it.
Well, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, teased that there would be a plan. If you remember, the reason Disneyland they announced the reopening date, then retracted it because California said they needed to wait till the theme park reopening plans from the state came out. And that was months ago. Gavin Newsom teased just last week on Friday that they would be coming very, very soon, and then didn't answer any questions or anything else. Over the weekend, the mayor of Anaheim, this is a town that is not in great financial state going into coronavirus, and relies on Walt Disney World for $8 billion worth of stimulus to their local economy every year. So they are kind of teetering on the brink of collapse. All the businesses that support Disneyland, all on the outskirts, are all still closed. They are not in great shape. So that mayor made an impassioned plea on the roof of the Mickey and Friends parking garage overlooking the Marvel construction that is quickly moving along and getting closer and closer to done, begging Gavin Newsom and the federal government to please do something, at least to give the businesses and people of Anaheim some hope as they watch their economy crumble while Disney builds up more and more. And not to not be critical of Disney. Disney doesn't hate this, because if there's any company in the world that could wait out this shutdown, it's Disney. And they have kind of been at war with the government of Anaheim, where they're hoping that more things close down so they could buy the land out from under those things for cheaper. And that hasn't happened. And this shutdown is starting to look like it might be the thing that lets Disney do that. So that's good for Disney, but not great for the people of Anaheim, whose livelihoods would be irrecoverably changed by that. But I don't know if that's more editorializing than you want.
No,
that's kind of what they're
nope,
at with Disney.
That's exactly what I was looking for. That's why I went through to you on that one, because I know we threw it in the notes. And it's interesting you talk about Disneyland and Marvel. That is coming along very quickly. And similar to what we have over here on our coast with Ratatouille seemingly ready to go, and Space 220 maybe never opening, but ready to go.
Never opening.
So when Disneyland reopens, let's say it's November. We're speculating. We have no idea when. Let's say it's the first week in November. They say, all right, we can get you guys open. How soon after does Disneyland roll out a Marvel expansion in Disneyland? Is that immediate in your opinion? And Drew, I want your take on this too, because I'm interested on why we haven't seen, and maybe Ratatouille is not complete yet. But let's go on the assumption.
I think you have to. I think Disney will be smart on how they release Marvel stuff like that, right?
Yeah, but so how soon though? How soon would you say?
I think you have to wait and see, because you're going to look at the travel restraints, right? They know that that Marvel will draw people to the state of California. Yep. If they think that, and we've seen it with Disney, it's not a factor for a lot of people. But if they think it will hinder the opening, they may pause it a little bit, or at the same time, maybe they want to do more of like a soft opening. But
Yeah.
as we know, Disneyland is more of a local pass
park, yep.
holder type park. But I think when something like this opens, it's going to draw people from around the world, not just even, the States. So I think they have to really look at what's going on in the world in the pandemic and see how that's.
Tell you what, we're not getting any global visitors anytime soon. I'll tell you that much.
But that's my point.
Well, did you see the CDC change that there's no more screenings at airports? So we could be getting global visitors if they want to brave the United States coronavirus situation to go to Marvel Land.
Well, good for them. I mean, why would anybody? Isn't Japan getting this, or China? France is getting something.
France is definitely getting this.
Yep.
And then it's like in the cards for the Asian parks, but not. That's like way down the line.
So they're not going to have it yet. But they
expansions.
do have the Iron Man experience over there already.
Correct. In Hong Kong.
So, I mean, I guess. Anyway, so while we're on the topic of that type of thing, let's get to two things. One that completely blew me away this week and today. And another that I think is very interesting, and Drew, I actually want you to speak on it a little bit because I know you were on the fence, I feel like, about this new concept, but you're interested to see if they bring that to here. Mm-hmm. So the foreign parks announced, I believe it was Shanghai, it might have been Hong Kong, I'm not positive, don't hold me to that they are going to start, and I believe it started today, they are starting scheduled meet and greet times with certain characters.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like a dining reservation. You go at 9 o'clock. You have X amount of time, and then the next reservation is 9:20, whatever it is. You like this idea or don't like this idea?
I mean, I love it and I hate it. I love it in the sense where characters are needed in the parks. I personally think, I mean, whether you have kids or not, characters in the parks are a huge part of Disney parks in general. So if this is going to allow the parks to have characters, I'm all for it. In the sense where, think about, every day when whether you're going to the grocery store or whatever, you're interacting with people, whether it's your cashier or whoever. If you're going to be meeting people, and they haven't really said, I don't think, Bob, if it's going to be, non-mask or mask-only people or characters. But, I mean, if you're wearing a full-on, costume, and you're going to be next to them for 10 seconds, or maybe they even do some type of social distancing, I'm okay with it. And I'm excited to see them bring this to Disney World. Mm-hmm. And I think it's only a matter of time before they do. I truly believe that you'll see this. If I had to just speculate before the end of the year, you'll see this in Disney World.
So I don't disagree with that. I think that we just recently, the real Disney fans are very excited that we got rid of FastPass Plus, that it was a broken system. If you can't admit that now, I don't know what to tell you. But I would say the balance of legitimate Disney park fans think the parks will be a better experience without FastPass Plus than they are with FastPass Plus. My concern with this is almost going backwards, but in this regard, I feel like this allows you to not waste a third of your day in lines at meet and greets. So I'm a fan of the idea of the scheduled times you come back and this is what you meet, but I do think it limits the amount of throughput for these character meet and greets that may not meet Disney's goals.
I 100% agree with that. It's an 100% limit. There's nothing, waiting in line is just part of any Disney experience. But the worst about waiting in line for character meet and greets is when you're going through their 15 to 20 minute break and you're in line for two of those or it's usually
correct.
Tim, you might know this better than I do, but they're on, it's like 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off, 20 minutes on, 20 minutes. It's pretty aggressive, I guess, schedule. And from their point of view, you 100% get it. But as a consumer, visitor, guest point of view, it's like, oh no, that they just had a break. Why they had another break?
It depends on what character you're talking about, though. And kind of to pull back the veil a little bit, like the princesses in Fairy Tale Hall, there's never a time where all the princesses are on break because it's this elaborate system of doors.
Correct. But if you're looking at right across the castle there, Merida outside in the heat,
Right.
She's one of those that's going to be 2020, 2020 versus the same thing as a character. I agree. If you're inside at a location designated, it's different. It's a controlled atmosphere. Tinkerbell, right in the entrance over there. That's a different situation. She might be able to do a 45 minutes on and 15 minutes off. So I agree. It depends on the situation. But this is, to Bub's point, is going to control that a lot more. And do I think it meets the demand? Like Bub said, no, I agree, Bub. It's not going to meet the demand. But hell, it's bringing characters into the park, and I'm all for it.
Now, the only thing I will say about this is this is specifically something that's happening at the Asian parks. And the Asian parks that were made after Tokyo, because that was the first foreign park, or first Asian park, all literally are built around the idea of character meet and greets because this is such a huge part of Asian culture. I mean, literally every city in Japan has a costumed character mascot that represents their city. So I understand that you, and for a lot of people, characters are an integral part of Disney parks. At the Asian parks, without characters, it might as well not be a thing. Like, that is such an important part of the park's experience that Disney just was not going to succeed there unless they could figure out how to be reopened and have characters. For here, it seems like the cavalcades, and now that they're doing these seasonal cavalcades and these exciting limited time cavalcades, that seems to really still be kind of scratching that itch for Americans that we might not see this for a while, especially... Yes, with the fully masked characters, we could see it. The face characters, again, are equity actors, and we saw a lot of safety considerations go into months of extra negotiations with that union, and they're finally coming back into the parks today. So I don't know if Disney's willing to then tell those people, you have to do meet and greets with the public and risk another blow up after they had to have that drawn out battle for the last 2 months.
I hear you. My last comment I'll say on this was I did see some photos today of some new costumes for the characters for their Halloween outfits. I don't know if you guys saw these. They're pretty cool. So Mickey had a very cool jester costume, and Minnie had like a new witch type costume. Now, Bob, I think Donald had the knight costume, which I think he always kind of has, and Daisy kind of is like a princess, which I think she typically always has as well.
Sure. I'd have to do some research.
Yeah, I thought I've seen those ones before. Is the only
they use those in the castle show, the midday castle show. Definitely used. Yeah.
But anyway, that's character meet and greet. A lot of good stuff there going on. Bob, what about the next one you want to talk about?
Oh my God! So, Beauty and the Beast, guys.
Oh.
So, Japan just opened up their Beauty and the Beast expansion this week. And I will tell you that it is undoubtedly the greatest thing I've ever seen. So it's called The Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast. And guys, let's just begin. There's a ride-through video available on the YouTube, not our YouTube channel, but if you search it, you can find it. Where do we want to begin with this? Do we want to begin with the queue where you're in the West Wing and then you're in the kitchen? Do we want to talk about the ride cars that are the teacups and the seating arrangements in them? Do we want to talk about the animatronics? I know Tim would talk for 2 hours about the animatronics from this attraction. Let's just say, in my opinion, this will be the benchmark for which all new dark ride attractions are going to be measured. And I will start with that, and Drew, I'll open it up.
I mean, I think you almost ended at that too. I mean, it is. It's us describing it's not going to do it justice. You really do need to just go, watch yourself. I know people say they don't like watching spoiler videos, and I'm all for that as well. But unfortunately, this is something you may never have the opportunity to go on unless you are a big foreign traveler and you do plan on going to Japan, like Tim. And going on this ride. Now, we could only hope this ride ever comes to Disney World, if not
Oh.
Disneyland.
Christ, yeah, I would take Disneyland at this point. I mean, yeah.
But again, just super high level, like Bub said, it is a dark ride, which again you're in some type of this one a teacup, right, Bub?
Yep.
And just think of it sucks to even compare it to anything, but I mean, I guess if you look at like the Winnie Poohs of the world, or even the Little Mermaid, anything like that. The Little Mermaid, it comes to my mind because you have all these vibrant colors, but just think of this times 1,000 of the fluidness. I mean, not only are you moving around, there are scenes
you're moving around the sets, Andrew.
The teacups rock back and
it's unbelievable.
Go with the music.
Yeah,
the animatronics are absolutely out of this world. Technology is out of this world. Everything about the ride it just blows you away. It truly is. Just you need to watch the video. But Tim, any other comments you have?
Just want to say right now, because it's only in previews, there is only one ride through. The channel is called Disney File, Phile, like Disney aficionado, and it's a pretty good ride through. I'm sure we'll get the 4K low light, blah 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 in the next couple of days. But this one, if you just can't, totally worth watching. Animatronics are a mind blower. A lot gets talked about. Disney talks about the Shaman of Song being their hallmark animatronic. The thing about that animatronic is it's seated, and it has the fluid motion. And then there's an animatronic that those of you who have been lucky enough to experience Rise to Resistance, that's supposed to be really good. I think it moves a little bit puppet-like. After seeing the animatronics in this ride-through video, both of those look like freaking marionettes.
Yeah.
The finale of this is unbelievable. It's something that I did not think robots could do that fluidly. And then there is also a transformation that I've watched it 3 times and I can't even begin to figure out how they pulled it off, because it's all about the practical effects in full view of you. This ride is just.
It puts you in the movie.
Completely sets the standard. Now, I will say that's a good point. You compare it to Little Mermaid, you say put you in the movie. Unlike most Disney dark rides where they expand on the story of the source material, Little Mermaid, the Imagineers refer to it as a book report dark ride. All it does is tell the story of the movie, and you are an observer. This is the same thing, which I watched the ride here a couple times, and I almost wish this did expand on the mythos of Beauty and the Beast, but I think just they were so focused on it being the absolute cutting-edge animatronics, the cutting-edge ride vehicles, the cutting-edge screen effects, everything, that they probably didn't want to try to rewrite the book and then just make the best version of these set-piece scenes that are so iconic from the film.
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much, it's, what does it clock in at, guys? About 9 minutes?
Yeah, it's very long also.
It's about 9, and that's, again, so it's a 15.5-minute video. I would say the attraction from when the people get on the ride to when they get off on the unload, it's about 8.5, 9 minutes. It's great, in my opinion. It really sets the standard. I mean, I know, Tim, you have nothing but great things to say about Pooh's Honey Hunt out there as well.
This blows it out of the water, and that has fantastic animatronics that are in their own way better than the Rise one and the Shaman of Song. But this is a whole other level. If you told me these were costumed actors, I'd believe you.
I mean, can we talk about the Philippe animatronic for a second? Because I kind of liked the Philippe animatronic. That I don't know why. I mean, I've always liked Philippe, so he's been one of my favorite, quote unquote true animal characters Disney has ever done. Because a lot of the animals that Disney does clearly end up being humanized and anthropomorphized as well, where they are talking to you. And I think Philippe, they do a really nice job with just a little subtlety there. But moving on to water parks here, folks. At least one of the water parks will be open at Walt Disney World, or is set to reopen at Walt Disney World, March 7th of 2021. We know this because they did some stuff with the Platinum Plus?
Yes, Platinum Plus Pass.
The Platinum Plus yearly annual passes, where they're not letting you re-up the Platinum Plus. You can still re-up your annual pass to the Platinum level or below. I guess with the water parks being closed until at least March. A great time, though, because I feel like a lot of the things at the water parks have been deteriorating at an incredibly fast rate over the years. I feel like Blizzard Beach, every time they shut down Blizzard Beach for its 2 or 3, 4 or 5 month refurbishment to fix something that never gets fixed, and normally has something to do with the plumbing on one of the slides. Typhoon Lagoon doesn't necessarily always have those problems. But guys, we haven't talked about the water parks that much on this show, if at all, really, in an extended capacity. If they could open one of these parks and keep the other one closed and completely overhaul it, which one are you going to open first? Which one are you going to overhaul first? Tim, go ahead.
River Country.
Come on.
Oh, sorry, that wasn't a choice.
I want to tell you, though, I wouldn't mind them bringing back a River Country style water park. I think that park had a lot of charm. It really did.
No, I mean, in all seriousness, Typhoon Lagoon, only because the Toy Story nighttime party is cool. Last time Rachel and I were supposed to do it, it got rained out by like an unpredicted thunderstorm, which are rare at night in the summer in Orlando.
So you're going to keep Typhoon Lagoon open, because that's where I'm going.
I think Blizzard
completely
Beach
retooling Blizzard Beach. It's a shit show.
Yeah, it's the older of the two. It needs to get stripped down to the brass tacks and built back up.
Drew, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, you really can't go wrong with either one, but I guess I would probably do the same for the same reasons you guys mentioned.
Yeah. No, I mean, Tim, I don't mean Blizzard Beach is the newer of the two parks.
Is it? Oh, I thought it was. Sorry.
Nope. Blizzard Beach is the newer of the two parks, and it is in a worse state of disrepair than Typhoon Lagoon.
That's shocking, because Typhoon Lagoon has the Society of Explorers and Adventurers themed water coaster, and that's where they do the party, and it has better food.
They've done it better. Typhoon Lagoon was their second water park. River Country was their first. Blizzard Beach opened, I want to say in 1990. Whenever Wide World of Sports opened, they opened about the same time, 95, 96, and Typhoon Lagoon opened a couple of years before that. When Typhoon Lagoon opened with the expansion of Downtown Disney in the late 80s, early 90s is when Typhoon Lagoon opened. So I will tell you this, that Typhoon Lagoon is the better water park for a family, in my opinion, despite Blizzard Beach having the Tykes Steamboat Springs, whatever, the Tykes Peak area. I think Typhoon Lagoon is a more accessible water park for a lot of people. I think it's a better setting. The problem with Blizzard Beach is everything is so artificial because it's based on a concept involving snow in Central Florida, where Typhoon Lagoon, you almost feel as if it's built into the landscape almost naturally because it's like a tropical destination. I think the Typhoon Lagoon theming obviously works better with Central Florida. But I just think Typhoon Lagoon is the better park. I don't think it's the best park in Florida. I think that's probably Aquatica. I've never been to Volcano Bay, so I can't necessarily speak to Volcano Bay. Although on their track record, they have people dying and getting shocked by their water on a fairly regular basis. So I don't know how good they are either. But have you guys been to Aquatica over by SeaWorld? It's a great park.
I have not. I have heard a lot of good things. I've heard good things about Volcano Bay.
Yeah,
but
me
then I
too,
keep
other
hearing
than
of
the
people
deaths.
getting shocked on the lazy river, which is like, watch the Action Park documentary
Yeah,
on HBO, guys. That's
Park.
great. But that's like supposed to be one of the more shocking reveals, is that happened at this water park in New Jersey in the 80s, but it also happens at Universal Studios today.
Yeah. So Typhoon Lagoon, just for the record, did open June 1st, 1989. Blizzard Beach opened April 1st, 1995.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never would have guessed 89. They kept that park in great
They've
shape.
done a really nice job with Typhoon Lagoon. They've done a great job with Typhoon Lagoon. I think that. So Drew, I know one of our favorite things to discuss here is the My Disney Experience app, food, and mobile ordering, skipping the line while people wait in line for their churros and you skip the line. So
idiots. They're all idiots. That's all I gotta say.
So they're upgrading the service this time around, and I think this is a legitimate game changer. I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah.
I think this only works at the resort locations, but they're doing the table service to go option. They started this at Tim's favorite restaurant, Sanaa, which has the best bread service on property. I think it might have the only bread service on property, to be honest with you. But
Caribbean Beach has a really good bread service.
Not as good as Sanaa.
No, not at all. But they also do a bread service.
So that's where they're starting this new table service to go option, where you can pretty much like you do at your local restaurant now, where you call in order or you mobile order, you go pick it up and bring it back to your room.
So, here's my question for you.
Yep.
Correct. This is now mobile order, and you do it from your phone. But was there anything ever stopping anybody from just calling and placing an order to go?
Yeah, I don't know that it was an option. I don't think it had to go.
I don't know if it was an option.
They're going to tell you no?
Again, I don't know that you could call a restaurant and say, I'd like to place an order to go. They're probably going to say, we don't do that. And what do you, I mean...
Yeah.
Just take your plates back to your room? I mean, I don't understand how they just say no.
If they don't have to-go containers, then that's how they're going to say no.
If I eat my food, I don't finish. I want it to-go box.
That's true. He's got a point.
I just find it... I mean, I get, Bob, that the mobile ordering is a huge part of it, right? Especially if you're staying at a place, for this example here, Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Yeah. It's a takeout option is what it is. I mean, listen, I don't know that you're going to do a takeout from the chef's table at Victoria and Albert's, okay?
I think there's an important demographic you guys are skipping over who this really appeals to. Families, DVC people. Yeah. If you're in those big suites with the dining tables and stuff, it's a much more pleasant experience. You have a kitchen table. You could get the food to go and eat there. Because let's be honest, Disney's room service is very subpar compared to what you pay for and what comparable hotels have. Mm-hmm. And also, the fact that they started with Sanaa is no coincidence. Sanaa, the Wave at the Contemporary, and a couple other places are beloved by locals and local annual pass holders. So now they have the option to order and take it back to their house. You know, I don't think it's any. I think that's a big demographic it opens this up to, because reservations are so hard to get right now if you do not have a whole resort hotel package booked, because they're so limited for the inside dining right now.
So I agree with all of that. To me, I think as a father of two that normally travels with my wife and my children, if we're staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge and my kids want to get the Uncrustable peanut butter and jelly sandwich from the snack stand, my wife and I can still have a decent, very good takeout meal from Sanaa and bring it back to our room while our kids eat what they want and we want. I mean, Andrew, you're absolutely right. If this wasn't an option before, I don't know how it wasn't, because it feels like this is just a way for them to, in fact, make money.
But I think they advertise it now, right? I think that's the big difference. I'm sure if you called them in the past and said, hey, listen, I need this to go for whatever reason, I'm sure they would have accommodated. But I agree. Now they're advertising it. You can do it as little on your phone where you're headed back to the hotel. You're waiting in line for the bus, right? You can hop on your phone and legit order something. And when you get back to the hotel, it's ready. You know, it's ready to go. I agree. This is game changer. I'm sure this is a test, and we'll see it a lot more at other places. And, you know, aside from this, they also have added a ton of mobile ordering services to a lot of quick service locations. Yeah. I don't need to get into all of them, but a lot of them were focused on resort restaurants, right? Or resort type places like the Boardwalk, which has a lot of these, or Fort Wilderness, which have a lot of these places. You can now do mobile order in there as well. So you can start to see they're really focusing on these resort dining, which is interesting to me. And to Tim's point earlier, I think this has something to do with people coming back to their hotel or resort to eat, and they're not being able to sit down and eat, right? Because, like you said, Tim, it's very limited seating. So what does that mean? You have angry and starving guests, and Disney, to Bub's point, is losing money. So those two things don't go well together. Angry, hungry guests, Disney losing money. You don't want that. So this is a perfect, out for those things. And I think it's only going to grow.
Yeah, I mean, when Rachel and I were there in July, there was one night where we could not get a table service reservation anywhere that we remotely wanted to eat. And this would have been a godsend if we could have gotten it. I mean, we had the Sweet Polynesian, taken it back to our room. We would have done it in a second. And instead, we just got quick service food, which is like less than half the price with Disney table service prices. So they could have made more money off of us if they had this available.
Absolutely. All right, Bob, I think that wraps up all our Disney park news and information, right?
Yes,
shall we move on to some super cool merchandise that has been floating around stores, Disney parks, Disney shop, and online in general? Why don't you tell us about one of your favorite collections going on right now?
So I'm a big fan of the Alien Remix merchandise line. Some sort of like Pixar Fest is what they're doing. This is a series of 24 pins. There are countless plushes. There are action figures. There are pop vinyls of the little green aliens dressed as their favorite Pixar characters.
Amazing. Genius.
It's great. And so a lot of people are comparing it to the way DreamWorks has kind of done the Minions dressed up as different things, a baseball player or pirate or whatever the Minions dressed up as. I mean, I would go, that's a fair comp. I think and it's no disrespect to Pixar for saying, that DreamWorks kind of did it first, but I feel like the Minions are a close comp to the aliens in some way, and I feel like the merchandise that way. Drew, I know you're a big fan of the Carl Fredricksen pop vinyl.
Well, Bob, that's because it reminds me of you. When I see both Carl Fredricksen and Anger, I figured if you put a grumpy old man and an angry little guy together, you get the perfect Bob. And I mean that in the most loving way, as always.
Yeah.
But yeah, these they're just fun little desk items, right? And like you said about the pin collection, if you're a pin guy, just fun. There's all these amazing Pixar characters mixed with an alien, which just makes it funny. Simply funny. And they have a lot of this stuff at Target you can see. So if you want to get your hands on one, you can definitely see, some of the stuffed animals and figures, and even Funkos. There's some Funko lines out there as well.
So we did blow it for you, though. Those pins were available in waves of 4 for the last 6 weeks to make up the 24 pins in the series. So those were a limited release that you had to get up every Saturday morning and pick them up. But those are officially, I believe they're all off of Shop Disney right now, the pins. And you can get them on eBay for probably $15-20 a pin. They retailed for $9.99 if you're so inclined. I do have them all.
So do you.
So... Tim, anything for you, Tim, on these? Because I know you were. Let's throw it back to the draft when you were pissed that Andrew took the Green Aliens when he did because you thought they were already off the list.
Yeah, just a super endearing character. This again seems like a no-brainer. As you said, the Minions. I'm not a fan of those movies at all, but the dressing them up as various everyday things and pop culture references seems to sell like hotcakes. So Disney could have been, getting in on this game way earlier. Good to see they're doing it now. The action figures and the pops and the plush for that matter are all super cool. A lot of the crossovers are really creative and well thought out. So it's cool to see this stuff. Green Aliens need to get more love. I've missed them ever since they took them out of the Pizza Planet. And
oh my God, that's another story.
That's now Pizza Rizzo. That's right.
Yeah, that's another day. Yeah, we're not talking about that tonight. I'll tell you that much.
What we could have done, why we aren't getting a legitimate Pizza Planet in Toy Story Land, which actually is a nice throwback to a few episodes ago when me and Jordana did do a Toy Story Land spotlight, and we actually went back and forth about why we weren't getting a Pizza Planet legitimate from the movie complete translation to Toy Story Land. We have no idea.
Yeah, like David Buster's type style.
Oh man, just like a Chuck E. Cheese's.
Yeah, it's print money. Print money.
Man, Pizza Planet was almost my region name. Believe it or not, but I went with L.
Wait, did Pizza Planet not get taken as a region name?
No, it didn't.
No.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
Surprising.
Yeah. Galaxy's Edge, folks, is coming to a Target near you.
Already came.
As well as Shop Disney. Bob, what are some of these this merchandise stuff that you're looking forward to personally?
Well, I'm looking forward to nothing from Galaxy's Edge. I am looking forward to Mando Mondays. But
I won't get there.
Yeah, so for me, though, I think this actually kind of makes sense. I don't know why they wouldn't have. I get the exclusivity of them wanting to have people go to Galaxy's Edge to pick up this merchandise. But when you have the Star Wars trading post already at Disney Springs, and maybe the Shop Disney thing, fine, you didn't want to do that, but not having the stuff available at Disney Springs to me was kind of weird. Listen, I'm a sucker for most Toy Story, most Star Wars merchandise. I love a lot of the Legos. I actually really wanted to get my hands on a Hondo Inaka Black Series figure. I haven't yet, but I would like a Hondo Inaka Black Series figure. And I actually really do like the Galaxy's Edge transporter from, I believe it's Rise of the Resistance Lego as well, but I actually have my sights on a different Lego that I did pre-order today, which we will get to in a little bit. But Tim, I know you have already gone to your local Target and picked up some of this merchandise.
So 3 Sundays ago when this stuff dropped, I was there before Target opened to get this guy, the Black Series Rex figure. Previously, it was only available as part of a 4-pack inside Galaxy's Edge, and him being sold alone. My Target had other people lined up. I was lucky enough to get one. They are sold out. The tip I heard is look at the date they released and then wait 90 days and check your Target, because that's the return window on toys, because a lot of these got bought up by eBay resellers because the Black Series figures have a big collector community. To your point about why they didn't do this sooner at Downtown Disney and Disney Springs, they made a big deal about the merch during the run-up to Galaxy's Edge that would be exclusive to Galaxy's Edge and that you had to visit Batuu to get it. So I think that's why they were hesitant to put it in Disney Springs. They wanted people to do it in the parks. And in fact, the stuff at Target is similar to what you'd get in Galaxy's Edge, but it's all slightly different. Like I also had to get the Tiki mug because I love Tiki stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And this is not one of the Tiki mugs that they have in the cantina. It is slightly different. And the same thing with the soft toys. So they are still keeping that exclusivity, but I like the idea of having at least some Batuu style stuff at Target.
You know, whatever you want to call it. But absolutely. I agree. But all definitely very cool stuff. Like Bob said, I'm excited for some of the new Star Wars Lego sets, which isn't really Galaxy's Edge specific. But let's talk about that, because there's a whole new line of Star Wars Legos that really have come out. You got a bunch of the Mandalorian series, right? Even if some of the Brit figures. I believe there's a new series of the Brit figures with the child and his little transporter. The name of Judy there. I don't know the name of it. But they also have his ship, right, Bob?
Yep, they do. It comes with IG-11.
IG-11, the child, and who's the fourth guy? Oh, well, the Mando, and then the fourth guy was
the character played by the Reading Rainbow gentleman.
That's how you. Anyways, it's a really nice set.
I'm not wrong, am I?
No. They also have a two-scaled the child Lego, which I'm really hard not to get because I have Yoda and I'm looking at him over there. I should probably grab him, but I don't feel like getting up, so I'll probably break him. That one's about $80. But Bub, they came out with a General Grievous Lego. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I'm a big General Grievous guy.
I know you are.
If we ever did a Star Wars bracket like we're doing here, I would take General Grievous as my first pick, regardless of where I was. And if he lost in the first round, I'd be okay with it. But I'm a big General Grievous supporter.
Yes.
I got to be honest with you, Drew. I love the new Lego sets. Mm-hmm. I love the Mando Mondays concept, which so basically what the Mando Mondays is going to be is once the new episodes start to drop for Mandalorian Season 2 every Friday, beginning October the 30th, the following Monday, they will be releasing new toys, collectibles, apparels, books, comics, and more.
That's dangerous.
At MandoMondays.com. In fact, pre-orders for Wave 1 went on sale today at 4 p.m. I did go on and get one of the pop vinyls, the Mando with the child flying away, and I did pick up the child Lego. They will be Christmas gifts for my children, not for me.
You got the child Lego?
Yep. So we're gonna put that. Zach in his room has kind of like a whole shelf where he's at the Toy Story Legos. So we'll put the child on another one. Yeah. So we're excited about it. I'm excited about Mando Mondays, even if I don't get anything from it. I just think, I look at the books and the comics that really go more in depth with the characters. We're going to talk a little more about Mandalorian a little bit, I think, because there are some rumors out there about Mandalorian in general, but certainly the most excited I am in this segment is for you, the listener, or you, the viewer, if you're on live Facebook right now. You won't see this, but you can go back to our Facebook and watch this point of the video when Andrew is going to show us the new Halloween masks that Disney released.
Yes.
How they're all new materials. And then he may actually show us the sizes of some of his other ones that he has on the quote-unquote Corona masks. So, Drew, go ahead.
Let's just say I now own a mask, a Disney mask in every size available. That is a fact. But what they did is they came out with some new Halloween masks. Now, Disney is just, they're genius with this shit, right? They're going to this is not like a short-lived thing. They're going to continue to pump out masks of all different types of designs. So they came out with a couple new ones, right, Bob? They had a standard Disney type like Boo-to-You with the Mickey pumpkin heads and stuff like that. They come in 2-packs. But what me and Bob noticed is they had 2 Nightmare Before Christmas ones. Comes in a 2-pack. So the first one here was a Jet Skeleton one. I don't have the Sally one with me at the moment. But based on my past experience with the mask, Bob, I had to order an extra large. Not because I don't, think I have a big head. I don't really understand why. But I have had all the other ones, and nothing seems to fit well. So this one fits. This one finally fits. It's a little large on the face area, but it fits around my ears, and I'm happy with that. But yeah, I have, there's no point in trying these on, but I have everywhere from a small to, I don't even know who this would fit. I mean, this does, obviously not me.
That fits your dog, sir?
The large is a nice. I'll put this one on for you. This is a nice one, but it's just, it doesn't fit on the ears well. But anyways, the mask. The point is these new Halloween ones are excellent new breathable material where all the old masks were straight cotton. My question and my wonderment, that's probably not a word, Bob, is that I wonder if
it's a word. I'm not sure you used it correctly, but wonderment is a word.
I wonder if all of the new masks are going to be made in this breathable material, which would be absolutely great, which would actually make me want to buy more Disney masks now that I know they fit. So,
I'm looking forward to the Christmas release because that's coming.
Oh, I can't wait. I hope I get.
Maybe we'll even get a Thanksgiving one. Who knows?
I don't need to go that far. But Tim, you're muted still. But absolutely sweet to see that they're updating their masks. Excited to see what they do with them.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Tim, I know. Did you end up getting the mansion one, Tim?
By getting, you mean Jordana so graciously got it for me while she was down there, but since we have, we haven't done any meeting up, it's at her house still.
All right. Well, let us know how that one turns out.
Yeah.
Is this your first Disney mask or no?
It's my first Disney mask.
Welcome. I'm glad we popped your cherry. I'm interested to see how it fits you.
It was definitely the later. It was a newer version. It wasn't one of the originals. So I wonder if it's the breathable material or not.
Maybe.
What size did you get, Tim?
Large, because that was the largest available at that time. Large could
fit.
I don't have a big head. I'll be honest. I have a pretty small head for.
Never considered that I had a large head. Okay. But good thing with the large is I have a medium here. My daughter wears the mediums and they fit perfectly. But they would not fit an adult at all. The larges are just. It looks like it wants to fit. It's just. I don't. Bub had the same issue as me. Anyways,
I didn't have the same issue because I just put paper clips and elastic around mine because I don't wear them around my ears.
But that's not the intention of how they were supposed to be worn. Is my point.
If
you have to modify a product that you buy, then that is a fault of the.
But I would have already modified it though.
Spoken like a true engineer.
I was never wearing them on my ears anyway. Even I just.
But if you wanted to,
but I don't want to.
But if you wanted to,
but
All
there's
right,
no
so
part of me
moving
that
on
wants.
to
Okay.
like
the
saying you're
Disney Plus preview.
Yes, the Emmy award-winning streaming service Disney Plus. May we add?
All right, let's just try to run through some of these. We didn't talk a little bit. I really don't want to spend too long on this stuff. I mean,
No, because I think we've talked about some of this stuff too, Drew.
the first one I want to talk about is The Right Stuff, which is kind of a produced by National Geographic film. It comes out soon, October 9th, and this is really about astronauts and their family, and it just looks fantastic. It's trying to read art about the Project Mercury stuff. It's are you guys in? Are you guys all in on this, or what's
I
your
am all in. I
Yeah.
am all
100%.
in.
yeah? This
My
this is
grandfather
gonna-
was actually an engineer who worked on the Mercury space program, so very, very excited for this.
very cool. Bob, Tim, who wants to talk about WandaVision?
Bob, you can talk about this.
Sure. I'll talk about WandaVision. I'm all in on WandaVision. It looks bizarrely entertaining. I think my biggest concern is that it's only 6 episodes in season 1. This pretty much comes out December 2020, set after the events of Avengers Endgame, where Wanda and Vision begin to suspect things are not as they seem as the two live their ideal suburban life. Almost looks like a fish out of water comedy to me. I think it's going to be entertaining, but I mean, we are getting this. We are losing Falcon and Winter Soldier. That got delayed until 2021.
I'm okay with that.
Yep. So,
Force 2. Anyway, Mandalorian Season 2, I don't really know if there's too much to talk about. It comes out October 30th,
There is.
2020. Bob or Tim, why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened on some of discrepancy? Nah, that's not really the right word.
So, no, there was some debate, unconfirmed reports or confirmed reports, depending on what trade magazines you're reading, that Pedro Pascal, who plays the Mandalorian, walked off the set over creative differences with Lucasfilm and the creators of the program, that he wanted more face time and less mask time. I guess the costume is fairly uncomfortable, as it were, and he wanted more time without the helmet on. To this, I say, I think anybody could do what he's doing. I don't necessarily know that he's a huge... I guess his voice is, but I feel like with any good voice actor, you could get a modulator and make it sound enough like it, where it's not really going to matter if Pedro Pascal's in the show or not.
Tim,
Yeah.
what's your take?
My take is kind of the same as Bub's. Also, like, dude, what did you think you were getting into? Like, of all the Star Wars stuff, except for maybe like Rogue One, this is the deepest, like, lore nerd, like the type of Star Wars fan I am product. You can't make a Mandalorian show about Mandalorians where the main character takes the helmet off a whole bunch. That's literally against their religion. Like, that's the whole point. So, it's kind of a wild thing to have creative differences about. Is I want to be the Mandalorian, but take the helmet off more. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't work.
I
that
agree.
way.
It's interesting. And again, John Favreau, Pedro Pascal have not confirmed that this happened, but there are numerous sources out there confirming that he did walk off the set with those differences.
This is the sort of thing that doesn't really get confirmed until he's off the show.
Not on the show anymore.
Yeah.
Correct.
Agreed. Yep. So that's Mandalorian.
Other than that, there's a legit boss in season 2 making her first time big acting debut.
That's a WWE reference for you all.
Wonderful.
Sasha Banks plays a Jedi in season 2. They spoiled in the trailer. It looks awesome.
The trailer looks great.
The trailer in general looks great.
It does.
And I think that is only covering the first maybe 3 episodes, judging by the other leaks that are all but confirmed that there's going to be a lot of stuff related to maybe Clone Wars and Rebels.
It's going to be a lot
in
of
the second half of the
stuff,
season.
Tim. There's going to be a lot of stuff.
I don't want to spoil things for people who didn't read the rumors about casting.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Let's spoil it after the show comes out. We can do a whole episode on it. I'm excited for it.
Next thing I wanted to just quickly mention was Once Upon a Time, the Disney show, is all 7 seasons. It's now on Disney Plus. If you have never watched this show, it's quite good. It's quite fantastic. I personally think there was a couple too many seasons, to be honest. It kind of fell off for me, but it's a great show. As any Disney board, if you don't know the premise, it's essentially about all these Disney fairy tale characters that kind of forget that they were Disney fairy tale characters and they're living in a world that's just average, like us. And it every season trying to diverse a new story. It's cool to see. Have you guys watched this show?
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, no, I'm
You've
sorry.
never heard of it?
I was watching my fantasy
Damn.
football updates. Did you say something
was
about
I.
a show running 2 seasons too long? We're referring to Game of Thrones.
Anywho, Once Upon a
Topical.
Time is now on Disney Plus, all 7 seasons. Whether you want to admit it or not, I think this is a big addition for a backlog of shows to watch if you ever have downtime, which you should. Mulan, on a different take.
You should have downtime?
They're
We're in the
listening
middle of
to
a
our
pandemic.
show, so they must have downtime.
Mulan,
Yes.
what is going on?
Shocking.
On
So I have a problem with a lot of you people out there.
Who
Because
are you people?
because apparently, and this comes from a Cinema Blend article that cites Yahoo, citing an analytics research firm. So just so we're understanding the 3-degree separation from Kevin Bacon, this is pretty much one step away from being Kevin Bacon reporting this news. There's a research firm, 7 Park Data, that has calculated that nearly 30% of U.S. households with Disney Plus purchased Mulan before September 12th, which translates to an over $260 million revenue,
good for
which,
you people.
which ironically is all money to Disney. There are no distributors. There are no theaters. It all goes to Disney. You people are going to be the friggin' death of me because
God,
now
I love America.
anytime
Wait,
they want to take a movie off of the big screen and put it here, they're going to use this Premier Access label.
Well, don't you remember Bob Chapek said this is a one-time experiment
Oh,
and
oh,
it's not
yeah,
going to
let's
be the
count it.
norm?
Well,
Yeah. Well, again, to be perfectly clear, these are estimates as Disney hasn't released any official subscriber information or how many people have downloaded the album, the movie. However, the next earnings call is in November, and we should receive hard numbers then. Guys, what are we doing? The movie comes out for free Disney Plus in 2.5 months.
I don't care what you say. We all want to see Mulan. I get it. But if this was maybe
No,
a
we don't.
different title, if this was a different title,
Yep.
I could see both of you two splurging on it.
If it was
Which
Black
title?
Widow, I would have thought twice about it. That's probably that's mine
which
for
title?
That's
sure.
my point.
Which
I mean,
title?
I'm shocked that 30% on Mulan, and nothing that doesn't no disrespect to Mulan, but it is more of a little bit of a niche, movie, I think, or
Oh, no, I
storyline.
disagree with that because here's the thing: Mulan has a built-in audience already from the people that love the animated film. Mulan has a built-in audience. I think if you
That
tried
many?
this, I think if you tried this with Soul, you wouldn't get nearly that number because nobody has any idea what Soul's about. They don't know it. I think Black Widow would do well or probably better on pre-purchases like this. I don't think Soul would.
What about something unique like Onward? I mean, I know that was a different
No,
situation.
I don't think it would have done as
No.
well. Onward wouldn't have been anywhere near that number.
Onward was
None of these movies. Mulan is a perfect storm because it was so talked about. It was so hyped. The trailers looked pretty good.
But my thing is,
But here's the thing about Mulan. It had a built-in audience of 1.4 billion people.
It's
This
not
movie was
doing
going to
well in
make
China.
gangbusters money no matter what.
yeah, but this is just
So,
the United States.
This is bonus. This is a
But
bonus.
I don't know. I feel like when you look at this with children's or kids movies, I feel like that's your bigger market, and this is not tackling that market, right?
I don't understand what you're trying to say here because my thing is with Mulan, it's geared towards people like me, like Tim, like you. We're probably not the direct audience,
But we didn't
it's
even do it.
people that are. It's we didn't, but 30% of the 30% of the U.S. households that have Disney Plus friggin' did.
But that's what I'm with you, and I'm confused with it. Here's 3 guys that have a Disney podcast who don't hate Mulan, but
Well, I think we're smarter than your average consumer.
don't disagree there. Pretty intelligent
We
people.
knew it was coming out December 3rd. So why would we pay $30 for it 3 months in advance?
That's true.
I can watch it in 12 weeks.
But would you pay for Soul, like you said?
No, I wouldn't. I would wait 12 weeks. Now that I know it's a 3-month window, well, why am I going to pay for Soul when I can watch it in 12 weeks? There's enough content on Disney Plus. So here's a perfect example of how they got people. People like us that have this podcast, that follow Disney Plus like we do for this podcast, know what's happening. Megan's best friend called her up and said, I'm going to go watch Mulan with the kids. She had zero idea it was an additional $30. She thought it was on Disney Plus because she saw the banner on Disney Plus. She had no clue. And
so did she pay?
No, she didn't, because Megan told her beforehand, don't put it on. You can't watch it unless you pay $30. But how many people were at that point with their kids and said, okay, yeah, we'll just buy it, and here it is.
See, I'm still torn with the kids thing on this film.
So
I think that's what I'm having a hard time with.
I think the kids thing's getting brought up. The fact that Trolls, when they did this, was up until what looks like Mulan is going to be the most successful film to do this. Is this the new avenue for your B grade kids movies, not your A+ Disney animated, not your big new Pixar?
I think Trolls is better than B.
I don't mean B as in like a B movie. I mean like your not blockbuster summer kids movie, like Detective Pikachu. Like, had they released Detective Pikachu in this version, I think it would have done fantastic.
Yep.
Like, I think this could be the future, rather than dragging your kids to the theater, having to get the whole family together, having to get them to sit still, being able to watch it in the comfort of your living room, even if it's only for a 48-hour rental. Kids watch it 3 or 4 times in that period of time. Like, this might be the future of first-run children's entertainment.
You know what, Tim? That's an excellent point. Is of the two of us, not you, Tim, because I know you didn't care about Trolls. Which one of the two of us bought the rental?
Guilty.
True.
Guilty as charged, of course.
I did not.
And my kids watched it 3 times. And then what happened? It came out on Blu-ray, and I bought it again.
Right.
But to me, I would have. I went to the theater and I would have watched it. I mean,
so
I went
why
to
is
Onward.
it so hard for you to comprehend that many people did that with Mulan?
I think it's hard for me to understand that. I didn't think there was that many Mulan fans, but I could be wrong.
You just did it with Trolls. And I don't think that Trolls and Mulan are so far apart in terms of their zeitgeist.
I mean, you're right. Different audience. I guess my take is that I got Trolls knowing that my kids wanted to watch it and would watch it 3 or 4 times.
It sucks.
I watched it this weekend.
This isn't a Trolls podcast.
It is what it is. Let's move on. I mean, good conversation, but I think we
basically Mulan did much better than I ever thought it was going to.
Agreed.
With a $30 price tag.
100% agreed, and I think we gave our rationale why. Bob, tell us about the next one here.
So this is just a simple speculation. We've talked about it before, but because Mulan was so successful, Tim, I know we've been beating that Marvel won't do Black Widow dirty. They'll move it out, move it out. To Andrew's point, we just talked about it. Will Soul be a Premier Access movie? Because that's going to come to Disney Plus. It's not going to theaters. It's not announced yet, but that's happening. I would stake $260 million on it that Mulan did. That Soul does go to Disney Plus. And Black Widow, I think Tim, you're right. If Mulan does $260 million in business based on that $30 per subscriber, Black Widow would eclipse that very easily, in my opinion, in my estimation. And not to Andrew wouldn't. Andrew's less likely to buy Black Widow than he is to buy Mulan.
Hey, I'm an Avengers guy now, but I don't like Black Widow. That is a fact.
I mean, I think there's there's millions of Marvel fans out there who would buy Black Widow in a second. I wouldn't be surprised if there's language in different contracts that prevent Disney from doing this with Black Widow, that addendums would need to be signed. And I think that Black Widow doesn't lose relevance if they keep moving it out. And I think that the Marvel movies have become too much of Disney's Cadillac, even more so than the Star Wars, after they kind of botched some stuff in the sequel trilogy, that they probably don't want to, quote unquote, lower it to the level of Disney Plus. No. Soul, I think it's a given. I think Soul is going to be another freebie.
I think Soul's going freebie too, Tim. I agree.
They've already moved to promoting the next Pixar Blue Sky like we're still in the concept stage, right?
The
Wasn't the one with the
Italian Village?
Yes, yeah.
I forgot the name of it, but yeah, they've already kind of released stuff for that, and
Mm-hmm.
Walt Disney Animation has Raya and the Last Dragon coming out, which I'm going to be honest with you, I think Raya and the Last Dragon is going to end up on Disney Plus. I do.
It's funny too because right, you look at Mulan with a $30 price tag. Now Disney has set their standard.
Mhm.
I can't see them going back now. So let's say Soul is going to be the next Disney Plus film.
Yep.
It's either going to be a freebie or it's got to be $30. Right?
It's not going to be
Soul's
19.
less valued. Yeah. Oh yeah. Soul's not as valued as Mulan, so we're going to make that 20. I don't see that, and I don't see people spending 30. To your point earlier, Bub, on Soul. Now, Black Widow is a different story, right? But speaking Soul, I agree. I think it has to go free.
Toy Story 5, I think you might get a $30 price tag. Incredibles 3, you might get a $30 price tag. A launch of Soul that already is more Ratatouille than it is Finding Nemo. It's I don't think Soul was earmarked for greatness, and I think the movie looks fantastic, but I think it's more along the lines of a Ratatouille or WALL-E or Up, and less family movie. Despite it looking like it's going to be very entertaining for everybody, I think Soul is one of those that speaks more to the adults in the audience and less to the children.
It should be one of those hidden messages for the adults, which the kids watch it and maybe they don't get the same out of it, but they enjoy it. Agreed.
Yep. Soul definitely, to me, seems like the most obvious of Pixar. We're trying to make a film, not another kids movie that they have ever done by far.
Absolutely. The next one here, someone has a hard-on for Nicolas Cage, and who doesn't? We all do. Sorcerer's Apprentice. Is that now on Disney Plus?
No, it comes out the end of October.
Ah, good for you.
Right about Halloween time. I'm ready for it.
Secret Society of the Second Born Royals. I'm not going to ask.
Things all over the place.
Is this X-Men? What is this?
No, this is a rebellious princess is stunned to learn that she has superpowers and belongs to a secret society with a long-standing tradition of covertly keeping the peace throughout the kingdom. Basically, it's like a CIA movie starring like princesses. It I don't know. It comes out
based
next Friday.
on a book, right?
It comes out this Friday, actually. So it comes out this Friday on Disney Plus. I'm kind of intrigued by the premise. I think it looks pretty good.
Why don't you report back to us next week on this one, Bob?
Maybe I will.
Next one here, Bob or Tim. Why don't you tell us about this one?
Sorry, Becoming is coming out on is out on Disney.
It's there, baby.
Now, all the episodes already there on this
one?
one?
Oh yeah. Yep. They dropped the entire series.
All right, and this is just the origin stories of some of the biggest stars out there today who not all of them are people you immediately associate with the Walt Disney Company.
No, Nick Kroll's episode was fantastic. I highly recommend it.
Very, very funny dude, and if you're a fantasy football fan, you should definitely know who Nick Kroll is from the league. Rob Gronkowski, Juliana Hugh, I have no idea who that is.
She's a Dancing with the Stars professional.
Oh, okay.
And I think she sings country music once in a while.
All right. Candace Parker, Colby Callier, Nick Cannon, which is interesting with some of the stuff that's come out about Nick Cannon in the last couple of months and him being dropped by Viacom, that Disney still went ahead with his episode.
They might have already had it in the can. Who knows?
Yeah, it seems
the cannon.
Anthony Davis, fantastic. Gonna have to watch that one, maybe right after we get off of the show. Adam Devine, Caleb McLaughlin, and Ashley Tisdale, Disney Channel Standby.
Yes. Yep. I will tell you, I loved the Nick Kroll one. It's kind of like the A&E biographies, but in a short form. That's like they're like 30 minutes long. I love the Nick Kroll one. A lot of oh god, what the hell is his name? His buddy, his best friend. Anyway, go on. It'll come to me. It will come to me. Nick Kroll and
is it Paul Scheer?
Nope. It's another
it's
another comedian from Saturday Night Live.
Anywho,
go ahead. It'll come to me.
This one here, The Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom, is now out.
John Mulaney.
Very funny.
And The Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom we talked about briefly, I believe, last week, which is kind of a behind-the-scenes look of Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park. So if you're missing the parts and you've not been able to get there, this is an awesome kind of almost like one day. The documentary Disney Plus kind of mixed more into the park related Animal Kingdom specifically, which just try to touch about all the stuff behind the scenes, taking care of the animals and it's a documentary behind the scenes, and no other than Olaf's Josh Gad himself is the narrator. Now, if any of you guys
won't he host for Disney these days? That guy is everywhere.
He doesn't say no. He's too nice to say no. Maybe we should ask him to come on here.
We did. He didn't even respond.
Oh, you're right. It's because Instagram blows. We don't know what we're doing. We need Jordana's help.
Yeah, no. So actually, Kenya the Gutsy Giraffe comes out this Friday. It was the first episode for this.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, they've released like 300 trailers for this. It's been crazy, the press they're putting on. And I believe this is going to be a single episode release every Friday. I don't believe this is getting all dropped on Friday.
This is genius marketing 101 by Disney. They take a property that they own, set up camera crew to go film, minimal cost, get a Disney already pretty much owned Josh Gad, who everyone loves, and just film this. I got to assume this was just like absolutely pretty cheap for what they made, something spectacular. Give it to people now who are missing the parts. I mean, this is genius. I'm telling you, you may see this in every park.
I mean, this is literally what they used to do for ride openings.
If you go back a year, Drew, we were talking about they need to do more behind the scenes at the parks, and I mean that was one of our big complaints about.
And what better time than now?
Yeah, it really is a brilliant move on their end.
Bob mentioned a little bit earlier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, both delayed until 2021. And Bob, some Emmy nominations.
Yeah, the Emmy goes to The Mandalorian, once including Outstanding Music Composition for a series, and I will stand by that. It is a fantastic soundtrack. And believe it or not, good friend of the show, Forky, he asks a question. He asks several questions, and he actually won Outstanding Short Form Animated Program. And I don't think anybody on this show disagrees with Forky asks a question, winning that award. A very, very solid little show. My kids still love it. They still make me put it on. It's still a great, great little show they do.
Yeah.
What? No.
No.
All right, guys. Do you guys have anything else you want to really add, or before we wrap up the main topic this week?
No. That was a good roundup of everything going on in the Disney world.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, guys, if you ever have questions or voicemails you want to leave us or anything for us, feel free to reach out. But that is going to wrap up this week's episode of our Views kind of fall edition. Any feedback or questions, please send us an email. The Disney Guys Uncensored at gmail.com. Easy one to remember. And though Jordana couldn't be here tonight with us, she can still be there for you. So reach out to her at Travelmation, where she can help you plan any amazing vacation, not just Disney, but anywhere in the world. Jordana is out at travelmation.net. And again, check our show notes for all of our social media pages, our Redbubble, Patreon, where you can support us and be, we'll love you for it. Well, thank you. But absolutely, for a little $2 a month. And again, Redbubble, you get some super cool merchandise. So we hope you kind of enjoyed this more laid-back live show. If you did want to go back and watch it live, head over to Facebook, the Ohana page. We will be saved there. And thanks for listening to The Disney Guys Uncensored.
Vote in Pixar Character Madness.